Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're trying something.
Are we?
Other than my patience, we're gonna try and do a recording.
No, we're not. Why would we try? We haven't tried yet. This is our first attempt.
No. I do not have the mental stability to pretend that we haven't just tried to record fucking 6 other games. Everyone fail!
Look. He's delusional. We haven't tried to record anything.
This was supposed to go on your channel. Look where it is.
I mean, I don't know. It might still be on my channel. We haven't gotten...
You know,
we're still
at this
recording.
point, it still might be.
We have no idea what's going to happen. This is our first attempt.
So, I decided unilaterally, fuck you, Nate. We're playing some Metroid Prime.
I mean, it was a 50-50 choice. There's only ever been 2. You know, it's got to go one way or the other when we coin flip.
Yeah. But it's more, it was more of we were trying to decide what to play because everything works perfectly on the first try.
Yes,
and,
it does.
It
first
slowly
try.
fell to my PC to try and do something.
We've been having a great time. It's fantastic. Real good. Real good.
Yep. We totally didn't try Final Fantasy VII and have it stutter like insanity. And then try Spyro and have it stutter like insanity. And tried 7 days and have it boot us and stutter like insanity.
It would have been so poetic for undisclosed reasons to have gotten 7 days to work, but unfortunately we couldn't get it to record because the newest update is not particularly stable.
It's a game I have never played before, and boy, am I glad I'll never play again, because it's trash.
Agreed. The worst.
Holy crap. Oh, I feel like if we had a third person, they might try and defend it, but no, it's undefendable.
No, why would a third person try to defend that, man? Like, no one would do that.
Well, if it's in early access for this long, someone has to be playing it.
No one would ever play that game. Not one person.
So instead, we are playing one of the games from my childhood that I fucking adore, and I have played to death over and over again. I 100%ed this game, and oh boy, I 100%ed the sequel as well. I did not play the third one, because I didn't own a Wii.
I have no real connection to Metroid at all. I remember Samus from the Captain and the Game Master comics that my grandmother bought for me, which gave away that she was a woman long before any of my friends were good enough to get to that point in the game. And I've never had any interest in the games. I played Hunter on 3DS a lot. And that was because my friend had the demo. This is one of the coolest things, and I kind of wish they still did stuff like this. Jam Packs demo discs, they actually had when the 3DS first came out. Actually, I guess it would have been just on regular DS, it wasn't 3DS. They actually had a demo cart for Hunters that just had, like, a multiplayer version on it. And then I got the actual game. Yeah, and then I got the actual game, and I played it. But honestly, I wouldn't play it again. I've kind of gotten away from playing adventure games unless they're like a platformer in the style of 2D.
How do I... That's what it is. Ugh. Remembering what it was like to play... Whoops. Remembering what it was like to play games before the advent of 2 control sticks was normal is... It boggles my mind. I want to play with the C-stick as though it's going to aim things, and it does not.
Well, I mean, that game was made when they had 2 analog sticks. It's a GameCube game.
Yeah, the C-stick, which was not a true analog stick and wasn't used as such. Ooh, reactor.
That's true.
So, it's one of those things of... Also, it's Nintendo, and Nintendo is eternally behind the times.
True.
Oh, I love this game. I loved how much you could discover and the fact like the world had things to talk about. And it wasn't just, you know, a flat world.
Whew. Pardon me, sorry, I don't mean to yawn at you. That was not, don't take that as me judging you. That was just a yawn.
It's not like we're recording this late at night because we've been trying for hours to record literally anything.
Okay, look, listen here, you. I'm gonna need you to stop breaking the fourth wall and ruining everything, alright?
It's a space pirate. The species is space pirate. I love that there is a species called space pirate in this series.
You know, the thing is that this is Samus's computer, so she just... They might actually have a species name and she's just racing.
Okay, so here's the thing. That would have been the case before the travesty that was Other M codified certain lore things that are pretty freaking hilarious and terrible.
Yeah, this game is very similar to Hunter. I should say Hunters is very similar to this in appearance and feel.
Yeah, makes sense. Since I can't remember if Hunter came out before 3 or just after, but...
Well, it was a DS game, and I believe that GameCube was still Game Boy Advance for sure. So it would have come out after. Although there might have been some overlap, I'm not gonna lie.
No, 3 was on the Wii though.
Oh, yeah, the DS would have been out by then. Hunters probably came out before.
So yeah, it would have been following up the second in this series.
Hunters being my only experience with Metroid games.
So I played through both of these games. These games being the Prime series.
I believe I played the multiplayer version of this game with you and your brother at some point.
Oh yeah, I know we did, but that's not a good representation of this game. And I did play a bit of the classic 2D Metroid Zero, because I got it on Game Boy. And boy, coming from this to that game, that was a culture shock.
I'm almost certain that I have attempted to play the 2D version.
Yeah? Do you like Castlevania games?
See, now that's an interesting question. So, my entry level into Castlevania was Lord of Shadows, which is a hack and slash adventure game, which I'm not sure how people feel about this, was one of my favorite video games of all time. I loved Lord of Shadows. I loved the freaking edgy story. I loved the characters. The fact that Patrick Stewart plays one of the characters. I loved that game. I was all over that game. So I bought that. Then I got the 3DS tie-in that was supposed to give you the second game. The second game was teased for 3 years before it was released. And the third game was not great. I bought all of the DLC for the first game, and it came with Symphony of the Night. So I have 100% completed Symphony of the Night. I have 200% completed Symphony of the Night.
Really?
Yes. Because in Symphony of the Night, if you beat it 100%, you can then keep the castle upside down, and then it goes up to 200%.
And what did you think of the Symphony of the Night version?
See, here's the thing. At that point in my life, I enjoyed it. I could not get into playing it again.
That's fair, as it is a longer, harder game.
Yeah, I know that's why they call them Metroidvania games, because they're very similar in execution to the older ones.
Yes.
Now, see, I really enjoyed Lords of Shadows. That game was fun. That game is just a hack and slash. I love a good hack and slash. I think the reason I enjoy that over, like, Dynasty Warriors, because Dynasty Warriors gets old super fast. The plus about, like, Lords of Shadows, at least for me, was that that game also had a story, different levels, and it was kind of... It did follow the same kind of idea as, you know, the old ones, in that you got power-ups that allowed you to get into areas that you could get into before if you revisit.
It was a remixing of the two genres.
Yeah, it was a mix of the two genres rather than one or the other. Also, I really like the designs. I really enjoyed that game. I loved it a lot. 2 did let me down quite a bit. That's fine. Actually, did you ever see the 3DS tie-in?
Nope. I never played any of those games.
Okay, well, the Lord of Shadows, I believe the Mirror Shard? I can't remember the name specifically. I do have it. Is actually an excellent game because it is... it has gone back to the straight Metroidvania roots. But, so it's like a 2D platformer, exactly like Symphony of the Night. But it has, like, the upgraded 3DS graphics to be, like, they're actually 3D models and everything.
Yeah.
And it was actually really, really fun.
Nice.
Again, I probably wouldn't play it again now, because I'm kind of not super into those kinds of games anymore. But it was actually such a good game, which is why I was so disappointed in 2 when it came out. Because the first one was good, the DLC from the first one was good, the 3DS game was fantastic, and then 2 was just subpar.
That's unfortunate that 2 was not as good. So you were saying how you were unsure whether or not it was like heresy to like 2. A lot of people do talk down, not talk down, Lords of Shadow.
Yeah.
A lot of people do talk down about it. However, it is one of the best-selling of the Castlevania games by a significant margin.
I think that's because it's actually one of the most fun to play. It's got a very shallow difficulty curve. On easy and normal, you can play it and you're one of the, it's like Force Unleashed, you know, when you play Force Unleashed and your character feels like a Death Star.
Yeah.
That's what you feel like when you play that game on normal. I know there's a lot of people out there right now who really like to play like torture games like Bloodborne and stuff like that, but there is something really satisfying about being the OP anime character who kills everything.
As someone who loves the Dark Souls series and does want us to play through eventually, I do understand where you're coming from, though. Some days, it's really fun to have that challenge to overcome all odds and move forward. And other days, it is fun to just be a god amongst men, slaughtering everyone.
Well, the fun thing about the Castlevania, again, is you could ramp up the difficulty.
Yeah.
There was a difficulty spike between, like, the level. I mean, it was one of those, it was that time period where quick time events became, unfortunately, a little bit prevalent.
Yep.
But that's fine. I mean, the bosses still had fun mechanics. You still had to be able to dodge and stuff. I really enjoy Lord of Shadows, and that is a game I would be willing to on the channel at some point, but I don't know if it was ever ported to PC. I feel like it would have been.
It has, in fact, made its way to PC.
That is a game I would play again. I would play that game. Not just that, like I said, the voice cast, real good. Real good in that game. I also find it really funny that the character who is voiced by Patrick Stewart looks as if he was modeled after Sean Connery, which for some reason makes me laugh. Yeah, a little bit. Because really, that's kind of weird, you know?
So, it is kind of funny that you would be so enjoying the game. It is a game that I was considering getting into.
Oh, I love Lord of Shadows, man. It is probably my favorite. Well, it's a game that I have legitimately put a lot of time into.
Interesting, that's good to know. Because I've been getting a little bit into Castlevania, playing some of the different games, enjoying them for what they are.
Evacuate immediately. Evacuate immediately.
Enjoying them for what they are and what but
Immediately.
very much, it's one of the few that I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I even want it yet, because it doesn't seem like it's an actual game.
Well, see, the thing is, it's also because it was my entry, which probably helped, because I had no nostalgia for the original versions of Castlevania, or the remake of the lore that is very heavy in this version of the game.
That's fair. It's kind of like how I've not gotten the new Metroid. Because this is what Metroid is to me, and has always been.
Yeah, no. Like fricking Lord of Shadows plays holy hell with the lore. Like, massively with the lore, which is fine with me, because I didn't know the lore, so I was okay with it.
But yeah, it's understandable that other people may have more of an issue.
Oh yeah. I think it's really good. I really enjoy it. That's whatever, that's just me.
But it's something we can look into, and who knows? Maybe even you'll see a video on one of the channels about it.
Maybe. Now, I bet you while playing it through it again, we'll find out that the story's not as good as I think it is, but that's okay, I still enjoy it.
Very likely. But you know what? That's okay.
Because I can remember pretty much all of the story points still. What's another game we should try to play is Zone of the Enders. Not the one that I wanted to play, because that one did not age well. But the actual, like, PS2 ones.
I do have all of them.
Yeah.
And I actually started to play the first one, I think it was. A little bit, and was enjoying it. It's different.
Yeah. It's odd. It is very odd. I do love the fact... I do really enjoy the fact that all three of the games, I'm including the Game Boy Advance next one, have very similar starting plots, whereas, like, a terrorist organization makes a secret weapon, like, mobile suit, basically, and somehow some random kid becomes its pilot for no real reason because it has no security of any.
It is a little weird that how little the security is in Zone of the Enders.
Yeah, like in the first one, you're a kid escaping from an orphanage during a fire, I believe, and you just get inside of it.
You are a kid from an orphanage. I think you're from the orphanage. You were not escaping during the fire.
I have DC'd. I'm back now.
So in the first one, you're not... I don't know if you're from an orphanage or not, but you're not escaping from a fire to get into it. There's a raid going on.
Yeah,
you're
the place is
from
being
the
destroyed.
raid.
Yeah. In the Game Boy Advance game, your ship is being attacked, and you go and hide inside of it. And if I recall correctly, in Second Runner, you are a miner, and you dig out the mobile suit from, like, the wall. Have you already gotten to 2 bosses this quickly yet?
I haven't.
Oh, okay.
I haven't gotten to any.
That big monster was definitely a boss.
Oh, I guess so. But yeah, you don't fight Ridley this way. Ridley is a classic enemy.
Something about games from this era that still look good to me.
Yeah. This is... The GameCube was a time where it wasn't so high definition that it goes out of style, but it wasn't so low definition that you had to guess at what the fuck you were looking at.
I mean, I have replayed the GameCube Resident Evil 1, and it still is very pretty. Like, that is an amazing looking game for a GameCube game. And then when they gave it the HD reskin, it looks like something that would have come out recently.
Yeah.
That was... There's some really good GameCube. But you know what this game makes me nostalgic for?
What?
Combat Evolved.
Oh, Halo? Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call it. I'm gonna call it by its name. So the franchise became off.
I love Halo Combat Evolved.
It is the only Halo game I have actually spent playing, and it is. I have mad nostalgia for that game. I used to play it so much. Me and my friends had laptops in high school, and we would play multiplayer, just in Blood Gulch, Red versus Blue, all of that stuff, man.
Chase the Space Dragon. Yep, I fucking love Halo 1.
Oh,
Halo 1 is the reason I got into the gaming industry.
It is just it still stands up as a fun game.
Yep.
Even playing the original version, like not even grabbing remake, still worth playing.
It's still worth playing. It also looks pretty good. It's like you can tell what's going on, and it's more than good enough.
It's definitely worse than this game, but it's not bad enough that I wouldn't play it. It's like it looks like a really early PS.
Yeah. And I love it. And the remaster also looks pretty damn good. I will say, if you can find a way to play the original Xbox version rather than the PC or the remasters, it looks better.
So I think my favorite thing about the remaster is that you can switch the graphics from the old one to like the new texture pack, and that does tickle my nostalgia.
So I like that. However, there's a couple issues. First and foremost, the PC version of the original has a bunch of issues. So certain textures simply do not work correctly as they were originally intended, and you can actually see the difference if you put a side-by-side of the Xbox version to the PC version, where there was transparency issues and a bunch of things like that.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad enough that I ever noticed it as a kid.
No, it's not bad. It's not like terrible, especially if you've never seen it. But it's definitely worth, if you're going to go and play the original version, it's worth looking at now.
The issue is I can't find my old Xbox. I have one. Don't know where it is.
Well, like I said, like I coughed, there's always a method of finding it. But the second issue I was going to say is with the remaster version. While it does look pretty, it completely fucks the atmosphere in a bunch of levels.
Yeah.
And that just makes me sad from a, admittedly, too much of a hardcore fan. But as that, it's like, oh.
Can I say that games kind of lost atmosphere when they became too technologically advanced in some ways? Yes. Like, one of my favorite things that ever happened was when they had to use creativity to get around, like, hardware restraints. Like, basically, Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 1, all of that fog, that creepy, awful fog that we got to love so much, because they didn't want to show that they couldn't load in all the texture.
Yeah. Well, Halo has something almost identical. If you go through the remaster, on one of the maps where you're running away from the flood, well, you first run towards the area where you meet them, and then you run away from the flood. It's this fog-filled, dark, and decrepit, dense forest. Played on the remastered graphics, the fog's gone. It's significantly brighter. There's a whole bunch of colors, so it's far more saturated, and it is just the wrong damn game.
And I mean, I feel like people of a younger age are like Silent Hill 2 and 3. I still stand by that they are fun and enjoyable games. I mean, we did the playthrough of Silent Hill 3, and I will not try to defend the horrible, horrible voice acting. But I definitely still liked that game. I enjoyed replaying it. It was still fun.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting game. It was a cool game to see where gaming's come from. Not my style of game, but I can understand why you enjoy it. And it was definitely far from a bad game.
Yeah.
Just a different one.
I understand why people like 2 better. 2 is not nearly as cringy in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, man. 2 is one of those games where it's completely that didn't really work for me.
That's fair.
Because it goes 1, and then 3 is a direct sequel to 1. Whereas 2 is off on its own.
Yeah.
Man, Downpour is a good one, though. I love that. Although, how long have we been going for?
We have been going for quite a while. The only issue is I need to... Oh, I guess I could go back to the ship to save. Let's go do that, and then we will leave it for next time.
And then we can just call this recording. We talk about almost every game but Metroid.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, we do talk about Metroid, but I love how we're time talking about other games.
That's what we do whenever we play any game. We never talk about the game.
Yeah, we'll
on that note, bye.
Bye.